Good morning, America. Good afternoon from Germany. Here's Pascal speaking. Yeah, hope you are starting good in a new week. It's November 14th today, and this is my first live stream on my own YouTube account here. So we had several live streams in Discord voice chat, and yeah, because nothing changed for 2 weeks now, I'm live streaming here on my own YouTube channel. So I did send out the link to a few members who hopefully want to join. There will be a recording later, so if you couldn't manage to follow here live, then you can watch it later. And yeah, I will just share my screen so that we can go through everything which is important before the market opens in about 27 minutes. And you can ask your questions here in live chat. So yeah, I would thank you if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell to be informed every time I will go live again. I don't know how often I will do it. It's just for fun, so maybe 2 or 3 times a week, right before market opens or late when the market closes in the power hour. We will just see how this runs, and yeah, just let's start here. If you have questions, just subscribe to my channel, and after 1 minute you should be able to write in the chat. Okay, let's switch to my screen here to see what we are about to do today, or to look today. Here I will bring you the right chart here. This is Nasdaq future, so micro Nasdaq future, still December future. And let's go on a higher time frame so that you can see what happened last week. Thursday with a good CPI data. So inflation was below expectations, and we had a huge movement, more than 7% up move in Nasdaq, and also Friday was green. And yeah, we even moved higher than the previous highs we had here on October 6th and on October 25th. So therefore we made a higher high, but let's see if it was just a false breakout, and if we have a smaller pullback today, let's see where we can pull back to. So I closed my long position. I had a huge long position with about 1.4 million US dollar in Nasdaq futures, MNQ and NQ futures on 2 different accounts. I closed this position on Friday after I made huge profits on Thursday and Friday, more than 150,000 in profits in the last 2 days of the last week. And I closed this position right at 11,729 points. We are still above this level, so I will be patient and wait for a pullback. So we made highs right before the closing at 11,876 points in Nasdaq future. Now let's have a look at what I have drawn here as lines. So you can see this was right when the CPI inflation data came out at 1 hour before the market opened. And here we can see the lows were at 10,809 points. So I draw Fibonacci retracements from the high point here on last Friday to the low points at the beginning of the movement on last Thursday. And there we get now important levels for retracement. So if we see a pullback, we can now expect the price levels here to be at these Fibonacci levels. So you can clearly see the first Fibonacci level was the low point of last Friday. Not the lowest low point, but the closing of the 1 hour candle. And it was right at the 20 EMA line. So I'm using here the 20 EMA and the 9 EMA as moving averages. And I have a volume weighted average price here. This is the purple line. This will be important when the market is open, because then there will be more volume. And here you just see the volume bars, so how many contracts have been traded. And here below you see ADX, average directional movement index, and below here is the stochastic RSI. So how strong is the trend with the ADX, and are we overbought or oversold? Here is RSI. Yeah, and we can see that at the moment we are still trading sideways within these 2 levels here. So we still have some room left for the price to pull back. this would be the first important level. I'm pretty sure that we will see this today at 11,625. And yeah, if we can pull back further, the next level would be right below the 11,500 level at 11,400 and what is it, 66. This would be my preferred level to pull back, but maybe we can also see a 50% retracement. Yeah, this would be 11,340. Probably not today, but yeah, let's see what happens within the next days. From the political news from the USA, we had the decision on the Senate. So the Democrats fought their position. They have now 50 senators in the Senate, and the Republicans have 49. So there's one seat left. In Georgia, there will be a last election in I think it's December 6th. Yeah. So because no one of the candidates had more than 50% of the votes, therefore they have to re-vote, and the candidate with the most votes will win the last seat. But yeah, the Democrats have already won their fight because together with Kamala Harris' vote, vice president, they have a majority in the Senate, and therefore, yeah, they are happy that they took one seat off the Republicans and could hold their majority. For the House of Representatives, it's a little bit different because at the moment they are still counting, so it's not over yet. I posted on Discord this morning. It's about 204 to 211. So yeah, you need 218 seats for a majority. So still 7 seats left for the Republicans, or 14 seats for the Democrats. But yeah, there are still 19 seats open. So yeah, they are counting. We have to wait for the full end result. But yeah, it's nothing important for the stock market, I would say. It's already priced in. It was priced in that the Republicans would gain a majority in the House of Representatives and that it will be close in the Senate. So yeah, but the president has so much power that it's not really important what happens in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, because the president can rule with decrets and can take on his veto. So yeah, it's not really important what happens here. But yeah, it's easier for the next 2 years for President Joe Biden to rule now with the majority in the Senate. So yeah, it's just more of the same like we have seen in the last 2 years. So yeah, not really bad and not really good for the stock exchanges. So that's why they don't react on this result from the weekend. So what is also important to know here, the VIX level. VIX is volatility index. It indicates the expected volatility for 1 year of the S&P 500 index. So we closed at a low level on Friday at 22.5. So 22.5% expected volatility on a year for S&P 500. But because we are lower now, we went up with VIX to 23.8. It's still a red candle because we opened at higher levels, but yeah, it's higher than the Friday, so even higher than the highest point on Friday. So you see there's a little bit more fear today than there was on Friday, but you can still see the huge downtrend. So we went down from 34.5 to levels of 22.5. So this is one of the lowest levels since late August and mid-September. So let's see how it plays out, but there's a little bit more fear than on Friday. And for Euro USD, I took on a short position on Friday. I can show you. You can see it here. I shorted one lot, so this is a short position of 100,000 euro. So I sold 100,000 euro and got the position in a US dollar long. So therefore, it's in my favor if this drops here, Euro USD. So if Euro weakens and a US dollar gets stronger, then it's in my favor. It's about the same like shorting the Nasdaq, because when there is fear, money goes into the US dollar as safe haven, and yeah, it just sits there and waits. And this is what we have seen the last days. So you can see that the US dollar got stronger, euro weakened, and the last week the euro got stronger again and the US dollar weakened because the price movements on the stock exchanges, you could see the prices went up, yeah, like last Thursday and Friday. So there was less fear. Therefore, the money got out of the US dollar, out of the safe haven, back into risk assets. And yeah, not in cryptos because of FTX. We can also talk about this later. But back into stock market and risk assets. And therefore, the US dollar weakened and the euro was stronger. And but you can see here was a high point from August 9th and August 10th. And therefore, I shorted at this level just for a smaller pullback. I want to see the first pullback here to this level. This is the first Fibonacci level, and here is my favorite pullback level at 1.02. This is the last high point and an important Fibonacci level, 38.2%. That's where I want to see the pullback. If the market pulls back, then also the Euro USD should pull back to this level. Let's see if it can happen. I'm in the green, $300 here from this trade, the closing of Friday. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Wix reversal I've seen in the chat. Yeah, that's correct. So we are at higher levels compared to Friday. So we can go on a lower time frame to see this better. But you can also already see that when we opened with a volatility index, we opened at a higher level. We got even higher, and now we are pulling back a little bit. But yeah, probably we won't close this huge gap here today. And this is because Nasdaq is lower than the closing on Friday. You can see we didn't reach the closing levels of Friday. So let's draw some more lines just to be prepared for the market open. So what I would do is always have one Fibonacci in place. So this is still important because we had a huge movement last week, and today can also be important. The high points of pre-market. So pre-market is, from my perspective here, beginning at midnight when the future market reopens. We have a 1 hour trading pause here at 11 p.m. This was on Friday when the trading closed, and then we reopened in the night from Sunday to Monday at midnight my time. So this is 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday for the US. And yeah, you can see this was whole pre-market. At 9 a.m. my time is the opening of European markets here. And there was a little bit more volume. You can see here, volume bars a little bit bigger, but it's still trading sideways. So we made new lows here at 11 a.m. my time. So this was 5 a.m. Eastern time. So let's draw another line here at the low point. So this is the sideways range we are trading in this Monday. Let's see if we can break through this level, and as soon as we break through this level, then probably we will see more pullback. So you can see here was a low point on Friday, here's the Fibonacci level, and here was the lowest point of Friday. So if there is a further pullback below this level, we will see probably more in red. There's 1% between these two lines. So we can see more pullback here at this level. Yeah, this is for the Nasdaq. So now we are prepared to the downside. What happens to the upside? Maybe we also want to have just some levels to the upside. If we can break above the highs of Friday, I don't expect, but you have to be prepared for everything. So just let's draw some lines to the upside, and you can clearly see here the last low points. This was right at 12,000 level, so the important and psychological level 12,000. This is my, or was, this was my target for my long swing trade from last week, but I closed it out on Friday because I thought, okay, this was a huge movement. We probably will see a smaller pullback, and then I can re-enter at lower price levels. Yeah, but it was a really strong Friday. I didn't expect it like this. But yeah, let's see how far we can pull back, and then I can re-enter it. But on the upside, there is a stronger resistance at the 12,000 level. You can see here the low point 12,003 points, and here the next day 11,997. So this should be a stronger resistance now from the downside to the upside here. And if we break this level, then we have the next Fibonacci level here. This is the 61.8 percent extension. So from the movement of CPI, you see here the low point here, the high point here. So this would be 61.8%. So this can also be a target. If we break through the 12,000 level, we will see around 12,500 level before we reach the next high points from September 13th. This was also a CPI day when the inflation data was published, and this was a huge red day, so just the opposite from last Thursday. And here is the high point, about 13,000. So 12,976 would be then the next target. So this is pretty easy to remember. 12,000, 12,500 and 13,000. But yeah, probably we won't reach these levels today because there are no major news for today. So let's have a look at the economic calendar. We'll just bring this up for you so we can watch it together here. So this is my time zone now. I have only the 3-star events. We can also have a look at the 2-star events. I'm using investing.com as calendar. And here we can see, where are we here? The important data for today. This is Tuesday, no, this is tomorrow. I went today here. So there's nothing really important because there are only 2-star events, as you can see. So yeah, nothing major news to expect today, but this week we can bring it up. So tomorrow there are some news from China, industrial production, and GDP growth on Japan. So this will be in the night during the Asian session, important. And when the market opens in Europe, we will have some data from Great Britain and from Germany, economic sentiment index, and PPI month-over-month data. So this is a producer price inflation. This is even more important before CPI, because there we will first see the movements of the inflation, which will be in 2 or 3 months in CPI. So because these products are needed for producing the goods for the consumers, and therefore we can see this inflation data here at PPI, producer price inflation. This will be 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow, so this can also be important and cause major movements. But because we have already seen lower than expected inflation data last week, I expect this number here also to be in line or lower than expected, and therefore more possible rally on the publish of these news here. On Wednesday, we have again some important data from the US, core retail sales and retail sales month over month. So this will be also important for the economic growth and inflation. So this will be again 1 hour before market opens. And this is the 3-star event, and there will be in the Eurozone from European Central Bank, President Lagarde will speak. This will be at right at market close. So half an hour after the market opens. So yeah, this can also cause major movements in Euro, USD or other Forex pairs. And on Thursday, my favorite day of the week, we will have building permits. So yeah, also important for the inflation and initial jobless claims. So there was no major change in the last weeks, but it will happen that we will see in a certain week that there will be a higher number. So you can see this number was almost the same every week in the last 4 or 6 weeks, but we will see higher initial jobless claims, and as soon as we will see higher initial jobless claims, this will also cause some more positive direction for the stock market. Why positive? Because negative data from the job market means there's less inflation risk, so less consumer spending. The companies are weak. They have to fire their staff, and therefore there's less inflation risk. When they earn less money, they can spend less money, and this is positive because everyone fears higher interest rates. So bad news for the job market or for the housing markets are good news for the stock market. And on Friday, finally, we have again a speech of ECB President Lagarde and existing home sales. This will be half an hour after the market opened here. Okay, so no major news for today, so it should be an easy trading day, but sometimes, because there are no major news, it can just be the opposite, and yeah, you can see every direction, because there is no major news which push the market into one direction. So therefore we have to be prepared for everything, like every day. But I expect the market to pull back. This is just my own opinion. It doesn't have to be true. But yeah, as you can see here, I shorted MicroNasdaq on this account. I shorted with 5 MicroNasdaq futures. I'm in the green, about $860 today. So yeah, just let's be patient and wait for my level to come. So my level is here, this red line. There I want to take profits out just to play it safe, because in my opinion we are still in a positive direction here. So overall you will always have different trends. So this was a question I was asked in a private chat. Someone had difficulties to see the direction, because I said don't trade the news, trade the direction. But what is the major direction? So there can be different directions on different time frames. Like you can see here, this is a day chart. So you can see lower highs, lower lows, and here sideways trading. So this is still a downtrend here overall. On a weekly and monthly basis, or on a daily basis, it is still a downtrend. Okay, we're in a sideways trading phase here. It can possibly be a breakout here over the last highs. We don't know yet. So it could also be a false breakout, because it was just some few points above the highs from last highs. But yeah, it's looking good. So on lower time frames like 4-hour or hour candle, you can clearly see this is still an uptrend. It's just a small pullback. So what I am doing here on this 4-hour or 1-hour time frame is I trade against the trend. When I'm shorting the market, I trend against the 4-hour and 1-hour trend. But if I go on a 5-minute chart, you can clearly see we are pulling back. So we had a high on last Friday and we are pulling back. We are making lower lows and lower highs, and therefore it's a downtrend. So on this time frame, I trade with the trend, and this is in my favor. So I don't want to be in this trade until tomorrow. I want to end this trade today, just not to trade against the main trend on this 4-hour and 1-hour time frame, as I have shown you. And because I think we will make higher highs, because I expect the market to go back to this 12,000 level, therefore I don't want to back hold on this short position. I will close it as soon as we reach this red line. Even if we pull further down, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to take a small position. This is a small position for my account size, so I want to take on this small position just to be in a position and to make some couple of dollars on the down movement here. But I don't want to pick up pennies in front of a steamroller. I don't want to squeeze it until the last point, until the last penny. So therefore I will take profits early. So this is my plan, this is my trading plan, and you should also have a trading plan. So every time you enter a position, make a clear concept. What do you expect from the market, and what do you want to trade, and why do you want to trade? Don't change your mind several times a day. Just have a clear plan. So then it's easier for you to understand what you are doing and why you gain or lose money, because you have to have stop loss levels, or you have to have levels where you take some profits out just to have less risk. This is what I do. I want to go out with full position size here, so then I won't have any risk anymore, and then I would just want to see where there is a bottom building, so that I can have more safety when it's moving up again, and then I can enter a long position again. So when do I leave this trade? I entered it right at the market close on Friday, so about at the whole high point here at 11,850 was the point where I opened it, and you can see there were only 20 points higher was the day's high. So when we move above this level, I will close my position, because this means the market will be stronger. Then I will have to close my position, even if it's then in the red. I will lose again these $800. I don't expect that this happens today, but it can be, and therefore I would be out of this position at the really near level, near my entry point, so I won't lose a lot. So this is interesting now, because we had these high points here and I entered right near these high points. So now I will have a good risk reward ratio, because there's so few risk but a lot of room to the downside to my profit target, and therefore this is a trade with a high risk reward ratio, therefore a trade I want to stick to and I really like, and just want to be in this trade and just hold it. So let's see how soon we can reach these low levels here. We have 3 minutes left until the market opens, and probably we will test this level at market open and see a small bounce, and then on the retest we probably can see the breakthrough, and then let's see how far we can pull back. So I will just have a look in the chat, take a small water. Can I look at Eli Lily? Yes, we can look at. Oh. How frequently will I host such live streams? Yeah, I talked about this in my first sentence. So about 2 or 3 times a week probably. This is my plan. I cannot promise. It's all for free. It's just for you guys. So I will do it when I have fun with it, and every time I have time or I see some major things which are important, then I will just announce a live stream. That therefore just subscribe to my channel and click the bell, so then you are informed every time I will go live, even if it's just 5 minutes before I announce it. So yeah, I don't know yet, but my plan is to do it 2 or 3 times a week. But maybe I will also live stream in the evening, the closing bell, or right before the closing, so the power hour. Let's see. If major or important things happen, I will probably host another live stream. But my plan for this week is to do it 2 or 3 times, so probably every second day, maybe next on Wednesday and on Friday. Just let's see how this fits into my personal calendar and my other dates. The last NFP is hotter than expected. Do you still think the upcoming jobs market data will be bullish for the market? Yeah, I still think it will be bullish, because you have seen a layoff of 11,000 people at the Meta, and also other companies will lay off their stuff. So yeah, I expect the job market, there will be more initial jobless claims. Maybe not this week, but maybe in the next 4 or 6 weeks. So we will see, and as soon as we will see this, the market will go up again. And yeah, but there will be a point, maybe next quarter, so in January probably, there will be a point where the market will not be desperate anymore, and therefore too high initial jobless claim numbers won't be good anymore. So yeah, it's just a small time frame within which the market is more in fear of higher interest rates than of initial jobless claims. But then we will see, if the initial jobless claims are too high, then this fears of recession again. So we can change mood every time. This is stock market, so you have to be prepared for everything. But we will go through this together, so we will talk about this in the next weeks again. But for now, the most important thing is interest rates, and just let's see the opening together, and in 5 or 10 minutes we can talk about the inflation and interest rate hikes again, and then I can show you the interest rate expectations. So now we already almost hit these low levels, and there are some dip buyers at market open. Interesting. So they try to buy in again. Still strong, this market, still strong. There are also some earnings this week, so we are almost over with the earnings season, but there are still some earnings this week from some value companies, so not tech companies, but some value companies. I will just bring it up here so we can still look at the Nasdaq chart. So Tyson Foods will be was before market open, and after market close we will see them smaller companies here, but there will also be Walmart tomorrow before market open, Home Depot, and after market close Advanced Auto Parts. And on Wednesday will be the important day, I think, Target before market open, and after market close Nvidia. This will be one of the last important tech titles, and therefore I think Wednesday after the market close we could see further movement on Nvidia earnings. Oh, okay, here you can see now the sell-off. We will Yeah, we almost hit this level, not in full. Yeah, it was here the low level, but you can see this caused major buyers to step in here. So 11,749 was a low. Yeah, you can see in the first minutes how the market can change and just switch direction. So that happens really often. So that's why I wouldn't take on a position in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Just let the market settle and find its direction, and then you can choose on your trade. So I showed now intraday VWAP, volume weighted average price. So you can see now the first volume bars here on a 1 minute time frame. These are causing the volume weighted average price to come down because we are trading below intraday VWAP. So this is again a sign of weakness, and you can see that we are below the moving averages, and the same is on a 5 minute time frame. So you can see we are trading below the moving averages, below intraday VWAP. Intraday VWAP always stays the same on every time frame, and you can also see here that it's a downtrend. So not a strong trend, but you see the A minus here. The blue line is above the purple line, but it's not a strong trend because the red line is not above the 20 level. So we need to have the red line above the 20 to have a stronger trend. On a 1 minute, we already see that's a stronger downtrend. So you see the purple line is above the red line here. So it's a downtrend, and the red line is above 30, so it is a stronger trend. But yeah, we still need to see it on a higher time frame, like 5 or 15 minutes. Then it will be more important when the trend is strong and above 20. This will be probably then the case when we drop below this support level here. Pre-market lows almost reach this, but still some points to go. Okay, traded below now. Several stop losses possibly triggered here. Pull back to this level and then see further sell off. So if you want to enter a short trade, you could enter now here at this, right at this level. This is an interesting point to enter a short trade when we retest this level, and then we can see further sell off. Yeah, it's looking pretty good for my short position here. Let's see how soon I can exit at my target point. Still some points to go. Doesn't have to be in the first half an hour, but yeah, we have time. We have nothing but time just to be patient. If the trend is in your direction, you can be patient as whatever you want. Yeah, don't pick up pennies in front of a steamroller. Yeah, it's a really common quote. Because yeah, some people just try to scalp. So they are saying, yeah, I take here 2 or 3 points, but then they set their stop loss so far away that it's just useless, because then they risk a lot more than they can gain. This is stupid. So this is picking up pennies in front of the steamroller, and that's the same with options, because I'm mainly an options trader. Here I now trade futures, but mainly 90% of the time I trade options. And some people just try to collect really pennies, so just a few cents with far out of the money options. So delta 1 or delta 2, just 1 or 2% possibility that these options will expire in the money. But when, for example, we have earnings, and there's a huge movement, so 2 times or 3 times expected move, then these options can go high with their price. So they try just to collect a few pennies because the probability is so high that they will win. The problem is they will lose on every 50th or maybe every 100th trade, but they will lose so big that they will lose everything they have gained before. This is a big problem. That's why it's called picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. It can go good. So you can pick up a lot of pennies because the steamroller isn't too fast. But sometime you won't have a look at the steamroller, and then you will still picking up pennies and just be, yeah, part of the street and be flat. Yeah, so here's the pullback again. Let's see if we can hold the level and stay below. This will be important for the 5-minute candle to close below and stay below. For now, it's still trying to push. Only a wick below this level. But I always wait for the closing of the 5-minute candle. Although I don't take this decisions based on a 1-minute chart. I always wait for the closing of the 5-minute candle, and then I take on a decision if we want to enter or leave a trade. Yes, interesting question. Are you shorting Tesla? No, I am not, but I talked about it because we talked about it for several weeks now. I already talked about this in Phoenix to the other 2 staycation winners from Ricky, that I see a clear pattern here. Inverse, shoulder, head, shoulder. So this is the first shoulder. This is a head here. This is the second shoulder. This is the neckline here about at the 200 level. And I said to him, we were at about 300, and I was telling him here, this was August, I was telling him, hey, you see, this is right about the second shoulder. If we close below this 300 level on a monthly basis, so this was end of August, this will possibly cause further pull down. And yeah, this is what we have seen. Yeah, the price pulled back to the 200 level again. It pushed again to 230, but now we are trading below 200. And you can see the last week, we even moved down on Thursday to 172 because there was a lot of selling pressure the last week because of Elon Musk selling Tesla shares for financing his Twitter deal. And yeah, this will still cause some weakness of Tesla because Elon Musk now needs a lot of time for Twitter and a lot of money because Twitter is burning a lot of money and it's now private. So he will have to pay everything if he wants to keep Twitter and not to go bankrupt. So he will have to have a lot of money and to spend a lot of money for Twitter just for the next few months and years just to keep it running, because it won't be profitable the next day and it won't be so easy. So that's why there will be some pressure on Tesla for the next probably weeks and months. But yeah, what I want to show you here is we pulled back to the first support level here at around 180, 175, even lower, but we managed to go above because of CPI day here. But you can clearly see it was a resistance here below the 200 level. This is the neckline. And yeah, now we are waiting for further pullback. So this was an interesting level, and it still is, for entering a short trade, because based on the week chart here, we can see where are the next important levels. You can see here on the chart, this was the last high point, so 179, 180, about this, yeah, is the next support level. We already were there, we already were below, but if we break below this level, the next support level will be here at 125. So there's a lot of room to the downside, about 29-30% to the downside from the current levels, even more. So this will be about 34% to the downside. So a lot of room for shorters. And yeah, I expect the market to be strong in the next weeks and the next 1.5 months probably, but weak again in the next quarter. So beginning January it will be weak again, and this will cause further selling pressure on Tesla probably. But we have seen the last weeks that Tesla was weaker than the market overall, and therefore I expect this to be the case for the next weeks too. So even if the market can manage to rally above 12,000, Tesla will be weak. So I don't expect it to go above 200. It can be, but probably not at week's end or month's end. So let's see what happens with Tesla. I have no position right now. So this is not an financial advice. So everyone always has to take decisions on their own. I don't give advice here. It's just my own opinion. It's just for education purposes here. Everyone has to take decisions on their own and have to be everyone has to take decisions on their own and to be what I wanted to say. If you lose or you win in your trade, it's your own thing. So don't rely on others because they are in a longer short position, because you have to take on your position. It's you pushing the button and it's you taking on the win or loss in your position. So it's only you, no one else. Don't blame others for your losses. Okay, when we reach 11,625, will you chain from short to long position, or will you go long at your lower FIBO levels? Yeah, I possibly will go long at the lower FIBO levels, but at first I want to see, oh, you see, we are retesting now the levels. We couldn't manage to go above the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA here on a 5-minute chart. Interesting to see, and that's why I don't want to take on a trade in the first 5 or 10 minutes, because you always see these crazy movements here. Still fighting for the level here, so you see how important these levels are. Yeah, we are fighting for these levels here, and we just managed to close above this level on a 5-minute time frame, but now we are still trying to pull below, and we can see on a higher time frame 15-minute will close in 2 minutes, so we will maybe close below. This will cause further selling pressure, or if we manage to close right here, then we will need another attempt to push through. Yeah, but this seems to be a good direction here for more selling pressure now. It's looking good for the bears, looking good for my position. Yeah, so I will close my position at the Fibonacci level I told you here, but I will wait for more, because I don't want to be early in a trade. I still have time, so I can just wait, and if we see a bottom here and further buyers coming in, I can still enter my trade at higher levels. It's not a problem, because I stepped out of my trade last Friday, right here at this level, at the current level. 11,729 was the closing price of my position last Friday. It was even before US market opens. It was at what was it, 7 a.m. my time, so at 1 a.m. Eastern time was it, so really early. You can see here, this was the level, yeah, when I closed my position here. Yeah, this was here, and yeah, therefore I would still be able to enter the trade lower than I stepped out of the trade last Friday. But I want to see lower levels here. This level minimum, the low points of last Friday, better here below 11,500. This would be my favorite level here, but maybe we can also manage to have 50%. I don't know if this happens today, because I expect PPI to be good again tomorrow, so lower than expected or just in line. This will cause a further buying pressure. Therefore, I don't think we can manage to go 50% back, but yeah, you never know, everything can happen. Therefore, just be prepared for it. I want to see this level, then I will open my first position. This was also a question I was asked in private message. Do I always go in with full position, or should you go in with half position or third position? And there's no golden rule book for this. You have to take on the decision. And yeah, it's up to you where you want to take on your position in full. You can take out now 1/3 here, 1/3 here, 1/3 here. You can take out half here, or you can say, okay, I wait for here and I go in full here. So it depends on which levels you want to see. Or if you just want to see a pullback, then you go in half. And then you want to see the pushback to the upside, and to have more security that we are gaining traction again. And then you enter the second half. Yeah, not on the pullback, but then when we see the reversal, when we are in the third stage and the confirmation phase, then you can enter with your second half of the position. This could also be an interesting thing, yeah. But don't go in too high too early, because I wouldn't trade with my full position right here, because we can still see more pullback. Because yeah, it would be a huge movement with 2% down from the highs, but yeah, this was just a strong movement here from the low to the high. This was about 9.7% in 2 days, so therefore there's also a lot of room for pullbacks. It is still strong, but it doesn't mean that we cannot pull back. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, the yield is not worth the risk. Exactly. Thank you, Althea. That's the point. So here, what is the yield? The yield to the upside is about 400 points if your target would be 12,000. You always have to have in mind your target. And my target would be 12,000 points. So I would have here about 400 points to the upside. Not bad, but where do I have to have my stop loss maybe here, so I have a higher chance to get stopped out with this trade, and my risk to reward ratio would be about 1-to-1 or maybe 1-to-2 if I set my stop loss right here 200 points below this level here. So I risk more if I go in early. So rather failing in entering the trade than going in too early, because every day is a new chance for entering a trade. It's not a problem to miss a trade. The bigger problem is to be in a trade too early and to lose money. So therefore, better be patient and wait for the right time to enter your trade. Therefore, prepare. Take the time, take the 10 or 15 minutes before the market opens just to draw your lines like we did today. So now we are prepared. We know which levels will be important, and we know what happens. Further selling pressure, as you can see, there's no major level in between here for the price to hold. So minimum 11,650, the last lows here, and then my Fibonacci level will be reached. There's still room here, there's room, 0.7% room, but yeah, it will cause some selling pressure, and this has nothing to do, really nothing with FTX. So FTX, the crypto exchange, it's not an exchange, it's just a marketplace. So people are talking about exchanges, but these are not exchanges. Exchanges are normally really there's the FTC and CFTC and others that really have a look at real exchanges. So there are rules for exchanges, but not for marketplaces. Marketplaces is like eBay. On eBay, they can have their own rules. That's like crypto exchanges. They can have their own rules how they are trading there, and they are not really. There's not really a lot of a lot of things from the government going on there. So therefore, it's just no wonder that a lot of crypto exchanges will be robbed out or will just go bankrupt. And if you have cryptos, just put them on a cold wallet. Just don't leave them on these stupid exchange marketplaces. That's really bad. Don't if you are not trading, there's no reason to keep cryptocurrencies on the marketplace, because they are a danger. Because when the marketplace fails, then you will lose all your cryptos there. So put them on a cold storage, on a hardware wallet and cold storage, and don't let them. Here's the retest. Interesting to see. Really strong. Let's see if it's resistance now. We're trying to push above the moving averages here. Right, you see why the psychological levels are important. Why you always have to look at the future prices and not on QQQ, not on TQQQ, not on SQQQ, and nothing else. Not the index, even not the index. Look at the futures, because here you can see the important levels. So the future is trading some points higher than the index, because the future will expire on December 16th. So we are trading some points higher than the index is. But here you see low point was at 11,702, right above the important psychological 11,700. So every 100 points is an important round psychological level, because people think then it's too cheap or it's cheaper again here at this level. Therefore, buyers step in right before this level. And if we trade below, there will be more selling pressure. So this happens really often, and therefore have a look at Nasdaq futures at the front contract. So this is the next expiring contract, December future. And therefore have a look at this chart with real time, because this won't be real time anywhere, because you have to pay for it normally. And it's just $1 or $2 a month, so just nothing. But it's just ridiculous to look at the 15 minutes late chart. Doesn't make sense. So, but you need the important levels from the future market just to see where is the important support level or resistance level, and then you can take these levels to your QQQ trade or to your SQQQ or TQQQ trade. But please never do technical analysis over more than 1 day on a leveraged ETF chart. Why? Because every single day we have the setback of leverage. So every single day we go back to -3 or +3 for TQQQ and SQQQ. And therefore the chart movements are completely different. So the high points and the low points are completely different to Nasdaq future. And you just cannot compare. You cannot do any technical analysis, because the levels would every day be different. That just doesn't make any sense. So never do technical analysis on a leveraged ETF chart. Always do this on a future chart. Yeah. Okay, where was the point I wanted to move on? So, it's really strong. It's really strong. They try to push it back. Next level is here on a VWAP. If we manage to go above. But sometimes we just have these wicks to trigger some stop losses. So this is one more hint here. Not to put your stop loss near these important levels. Just put your stop loss a little bit more away from these important levels. So if you took on a short position here, just don't put your stop loss right above this level. You will have to give the chart some room just to do these movements here, because it's not on point. Yeah, it's not a science here what we do. This technical analysis is not a science. So you have to give the chart some room, but you see that these levels are working. Yeah, in major trends the levels are working, and therefore give some room if you set your stop loss. So else you will be stopped out every time. Yeah, it's working. It's looking good. Retest of the 9 EMA here. We have to break below again. Yeah, let's see. Okay. Yeah, Roblox and Eli Lilly. We'll look at this right now. Okay, let's look at this. And I think someone asked for natural gas also. Okay, let's begin with natural gas. Natural gas was interesting the last days because here 1.5 weeks ago we had this triangle here going on, and I told my clients if there will be a breakout to the up or to the downside, there will be further movement. And right one day after I made this analysis on Friday here, the November 3rd, we had this breakout to the upside, and you see on Monday, wow, we made a huge gap up here, but we closed on a doji, and this was a clear sign for a reversal here. And then on Tuesday we went back again to the $6 levels here. We are now trading in the sideways range here, so we need a clear breakout again to the up or downside. But yeah, I'm rather bullish than bearish for this here, because when I go back, you can also see here, this was like Tesla, this was a shoulder head shoulder formation. Yeah, shoulder here, head, shoulder here, and you see neckline about here, or neckline level if you want here. Yeah, this could be neckline about this neckline level, and as soon as we broke below this neckline here, you see this further selling pressure right back to the last low points here. So this is support level. 550 is now support level, and we are pulling up again from this support level. And yeah, therefore I would rather take on a long trade if you are trading it directional with the futures, or just short a put. So sell a put, because you will get a lot of extrinsic value here, because there's high implied volatility in the options at the moment, and you can also gain money when the price is just going sideways, or even if it's pulling back a little bit, because you will gain every day with theta decay. And if implied volatility is coming down, you can also gain with Vega. Then yeah, you have more possibilities, there are more dimensions than trading directional the future. That's why I would like to enter a short put trade, sell a put. Yeah, let's see if I can get a lower level here again today or tomorrow, just to enter a short put trade. This would be interesting and in my favor here if the price goes back up again. Okay, now we go to Eli Lilly. I think there was a dividend payment here. That's what you see here. Just go here, dividend payment of 98 cents. This was a normal dividend. Therefore, we have a little bit lower prices ex-dividend date today. And yeah, but we are trading below this this dividend payment, so it's in the red, clearly in the red today. And I think there was something on Twitter last week, because there were these fake accounts with blue arrow, paying just $8 and having this blue arrow as confirmed status. And they said the insulin will be free for everyone. and then all these pharma stocks producing insulin went down heavy. You can see here. Yeah, it just was ridiculous because a lot of people thought there will be no market for insulin anymore because they will give it out for free. It was a funny joke, but it was not so funny for the stockholders of Eli Lilly, of course. Yeah, but the same like with Nasdaq, we had now high points at 370. It's still an uptrend here with higher lows, higher highs. So it's still moving in the up direction, but we have to hold the last low points here. You see this was a previous high here, previous low here. 340 level should hold, else we will see probably lower levels if we break below this 240 on the day. If we close below this, then it's not good anymore because you see then the uptrend here will be broken, and therefore I wouldn't hold a long position if we close below 340 on the day chart here. Yeah, but it's still in an uptrend here. Okay, next question was we already had Tesla, we had Eli Lilly and Roblox, RBLX. So a little bit different. Here we had the lows at about 31. Just delete these Fibonacci levels here. You can also draw Fibonacci lines now here from the low points to the high points. This was about here. Yeah, just take the full movement here, no matter what the news were. If there were news, just take the last huge movement here, and then you will see the Fibonacci levels. And you see this is now a resistance here at 37. We reached it on Friday, we reached it today, so it will struggle a little bit to go above, but the next level will be $39 here. So it's looking better now for the reversal here because we had two strong green days like with Nasdaq, but yeah, there will be room here to pull back to this level. You see the opening of Friday and the major lows here during end of September, beginning October. This should hold. If we close below these levels here on a day chart, on a daily level, we close below the end of day, then I wouldn't hold a long position anymore. But as long as we are trading here sideways, it's still in favor for the reversal to the upside up to $39 or maybe higher. Next level would be 41. Also important level, you see the last low points here, could be interesting. And yeah, still possible to make a 100% reversal here to the highs from October 26. This would be at $47.67. So not interesting to put on a new trade for now, but if you're in a long trade, you can stick to your trade and just hold it as long as we do not close below this red level here at about $34.60. Okay, back to Nasdaq. Oh, we see the breakout to the upside. Oh, and you see the push, because now we have a stronger movement here and we push above the VWAP level here. So they try to push above, but normally these are just stop losses triggered and we pull back. Yeah, pretty soon. A lot of false breakouts in the first half an hour here. So yeah, we still have to manage to close above VWAP and to make higher highs. So interesting to see here. You see the market is still strong. It doesn't want to pull back. And that's what you can see and what you can feel. Sometimes it needs some time to get this feeling and to read it. But you see that normally in a weak market it would be easy to have this as a resistance level and just to have a further sell-off. But here you see market is strong. It doesn't want to pull back on the first attempt. It still can pull back, but yeah, you will have to give it some time. Okay. Yeah, we also wanted to talk about the next Federal Reserve meeting. So I will look at the FedWatch tool here. Just enter FedWatch tool in Google, you will find it here. CMA FedWatch tool. Next meeting is in about 30 days, so in about a month. And you see December 14th, the expectations here. So it is taken out of the market, the expectations, and you see the swift, the change here. This, from the last Friday and the last week, we had a huge swift here change to lower expectations. So at the moment we are at 3.75% interest rate, and the expectations are now 80% that we will go to 4.25%, so half a percentage point up. So this would be less than the last times, because we had 75 basis points the last Federal Reserve meeting, so this would be less than the last times. Still a huge movement with a half a percentage point, but less than the last Federal Reserve meetings. And about 20% expect 75 basis points rate hike. But you can see how the expectation switched here. 1 month ago we had about 30% expectation for only 50 basis points and 70% for 75 basis points. But now you can see there was 52% 1 week ago, 80% on Friday, and the same today. So there was a huge shift here. And I also expect that the Federal Reserve will step a little bit away from the gas, because this lower than expected CPI data, so they see that the interest rate hikes they did some months ago, so 3-4 months ago, it's working now. So it's now coming into the market. It takes its time when the companies see, oh, higher interest rates, so it's more difficult to finance their debt, and therefore they will struggle more to do their business. And that's what we see, and that's what the market expects, that the Federal Reserve will therefore be less aggressive with the interest rate hikes and only go up 50 basis points instead of 75 basis points, what they expected 1 month ago. But we still have time. There's still 30 days for the next meeting. It's just what I wanted you to show, because you can look this up once a day and just see how the market expectations shift. And we often see these shifts when we have huge movements in the market up to the up or downside, and possibly because there is a shift in the expectation of interest rate hikes. So have this in your mind and have a look at this, then you will be better informed. Especially tomorrow on PPI data, there could be again a shift, maybe 85 or 90% for only 50 basis points, maybe some for only 25 basis points, who knows. It depends on how inflation data comes out tomorrow. Okay, 2 more stocks here, STNG and RKLB. Yeah, we can have a look at these two. STNG, Scorpio Tankers, never heard of this. Okay, about the same like Eli Lilly, so it's in an uptrend. Yeah, it depends on how you draw it, like this or here at the low points. Yeah, I would like to draw it here at the low points, so it's still an uptrend. We had higher lows, we had higher highs, but we shouldn't break below this $46 level on daily basis. If we close below this level, you see the last high points here, the last low points here. If we close below the $46 level, so there's still $2.80 to go, but if we close below this level, it's not bullish anymore. But it could be interesting now to enter this trade or to hold this trade, because it's still looking interesting for the long side. You can also have Fibonacci levels here. You see we can still have pullback here to the $47.60, and it would still be bullish, and we would be at this uptrend line here. So could be interesting to take on a long trend position here at this level. This is just technical analysis and chart analysis, nothing to do with the fundamental. I don't know this company at all. Yeah, next one, RKLB, Rocket Lab. Oh, huge movements here last week. Huge wick to the down and to the upside. But it's an uptrend. It's in favor of the bulls. We shouldn't go below this $5 level. Don't close below, or it will be weaker again. We just struggled here at the last high points from mid-September. So we have to go above these levels here. Close above this $5.90. This would be good. Close above this level, then there will be more buying pressure. You see the next high point would be $7.25. So there's a huge potential to the upside if we close above this $5.90 level. But this will be a major resistance here. And the next support level will be right around or below this $5 level. I would say $4.90, $5. This will be the major support level. And yeah, it should hold as it's not looking bullish anymore. Thoughts on oil, crude oil. Let's see here, crude oil. So it was moving sideways the last days, but with a lot of volatility right before the midterm elections, because Biden wanted to bring the oil prices down. He gave the special reserves on the market just to lower the gasoline prices, but yeah, it didn't last long. As you can see, prices went up again, but it's still in a sideways trading range, so we have to wait for a breakout here on crude oil. Volatility is low at the moment in crude oil options, so there's not a lot to expect from crude oil prices. Yeah, that's a problem when I go on a week chart, but yeah, I wouldn't trade this at the moment. Not directional. You can hold a short strangle or an iron condor if you have an idea about options trading, but we have to go above the last high points here at 93.50 to have more potential to the upside for the bulls, and to the downside about this level here, last low point here, or minimum below 85 and then below 81 to have more downside potential. And I wouldn't trade this at the moment. If you want to trade a breakout now, then you could enter a long trade because implied volatility is low at the moment. Therefore, you can buy a call and a put together. I wouldn't trade it at the money. I would trade out of the money. So maybe with a 94, 95 strike, and here with a 83, 81 strike. Buy both and just wait for a stronger push to break out to one of these levels. But please don't trade with a nearest to expiration expiry. Just trade 60 or 80 days, so you will have more time for the breakout, because you see we are now trading for more than 1 month sideways, so it still can trade sideways until Christmas, and you have to take this into consideration. Therefore, don't rush in a trade. Either wait for the breakout or trade a long strangle and with a longer time to expiry. Do you have, or are you planning on having an options course or learning group where you share your trades? Yeah, I do already option courses, but only in German language, not in English for now, because all my videos, everything is in German. So yeah, maybe if there are more people interested in this, I could do the work, but it is a lot of work to do everything in English. And my English is not the best. It's just basic English, school English. I've never practiced a lot, but it's enough to talk to you and to let you know my ideas here, but not for selling it as a trading course and options. But we can do on every live stream, we can do 10 to 15 minutes, just basic options ideas, option strategies. We can talk about this and you will learn just by watching it. And you have the possibility to rewatch it, because every live stream here will be recorded and you can rewatch it and learn from it later if you miss it and can't watch it live. Okay, back to Nasdaq chart. Where are we? Yeah, more bullish, but now we see the highs here from pre-market. We are trying to push above, but it's a stronger resistance here now. 11,800, you see, it's again an important psychological level, and now pulling back. Yeah, still trading sideways, so no breakout here, but we have to be patient and wait. It's still in favor of the bulls, because they managed to go back above VWAP, above all the moving averages here. So they are pretty strong today. So Yeah, there was one more question I wanted to answer, because some of you asking, why is my name Börsenguru? In German, Börsenguru is the English stock market guru. Why do I name myself stock market guru? I don't like gurus at all, so it's just stupid to have a guru you want to follow, and so always take on your own trades. Don't trade with others, and take on responsibility for your own trades. That was the word I was missing, responsibility. Take on responsibility for your own trading. And yeah, it's just about you. You have to learn it. You cannot trade black block style, just trade with one other and rely on his trading. It's just stupid. What do you do when he doesn't share his knowledge, his tradings, or if he dies? So yeah, this would be a bad situation for you. Therefore, you have to learn it, and you have to make your own plan, and you have to, yeah, you have to take on the decision, and it's your choice if you go long or short, and when you go long or short, and don't trade with others, and don't rely on others. This is important, what I wanted to share, and therefore I don't like guru trading. But why do I have this name then? It's a long time ago, when I was about 14 or 15 years. Yeah, there's a thing like a stock market challenge here in Germany from the local mutual banks. And you can start with about 13, 14 years in school, and yeah, they just provide it for free, just to give some knowledge, and just to see for the students that there's a possibility to have an account, and to trade shares, and to see how they move, and to economic news and so on. So they just want to improve this, because yeah, there's not a lot of knowledge here in Germany. And yeah, it exists for more than 30 or 40 years now. I was taking part in this when I was 13, 14. It was really interesting for me. And the one year I gained the big. I was one of the best in a special ranking there, and it was like an ESG ranking, environmental social governance ranking. They introduced one day or in one year, and I was the best one of Germany. Again, I think it was 1,500 euro. So as a as a student, it was a really high amount. But yeah, the knowledge wasn't really spread wide. So they had a forum, so they had an own homepage and a forum. You could ask questions there about the game, about the main thing: how do I buy, how do I sell? But this was just paper money, so it was risk free. You didn't have to invest your own money as a student, of course. It was completely risk free, and you had just about 200 shares to trade. And yeah, but I was able to answer some questions because I already had knowledge, and therefore when there were questions, the moderators couldn't answer, because they were just they had only basic knowledge about capital markets, and they only knew how to explain to the beginners how to trade on their paper money platform there for I think it was 1.5 months. So it started in October, and it ended in the beginning of December. And yeah, so they couldn't answer these questions in the forum there, and that's where I stepped in, and I answered these questions, these more difficult questions, easy for me but difficult for them. And that's why they called me Börsenguru, stock market guru. And they always said, when there was such a question, oh, ask stock market guru, we have no idea of this question, what the answer is. And this was just so funny that I named myself the next year Börsenguru, stock market guru, because then I had the name in their forum, stock market guru. And yeah, it was just joking and having fun when I was 14, 15 years old. And it then became my name on every platform. So on Discord and everywhere, I named myself just Börsenguru, because I was answering questions others didn't know the answer. And that's why people still called me Börsenguru, stock market guru, and that's why I have still this name. It's not because I want others to trade with me and to take on the same trade like me. It's just because of this, what happened more than 18 years ago, and this is how my name came up. Yeah. Did you close your NQ position? No, as I told, I have still some room to the high points of Friday. You see where the high points were here at 11,873. So there is some room. I could have closed it, of course, but I'm mainly a swing trader, not a day trader. So I have a lot of room to the downside. You see, I'm still in the green for $100, so there's no need to rush out of a trade now. I could do it, okay, but I'm okay with it if I just close it break even. And I entered it at the 11,850, so I still have 50 points to break even here, and this would be a new high, higher than pre-market, so then it would be really bullish. So I have time. Yeah, just wait. We can still pull back here. As we said before, there are no major news today, so there's still the possibility to go down again and to have a lot of sideways trading, and yeah, just small pushes here can pull the market higher or lower again. Thoughts on Rivian? Yeah, let's look at Rivian. Where is it? Here, Rivian. What is the Rivian? Or IVN. Or IVN. Yeah, it's trading sideways here. You see the last low points here. Maybe here. Some more low points here. So yeah, this should be the lowest zone here. And some high points here. So we had high points here and here. So we have to manage to break above $36.50 on a daily basis. Then there will be more buyers stepping in to the last highs here at 40 or above 40, and below there would be more selling pressure below $29. But now we are just trading sideways, so not really interesting to trade this directional here at the moment, in my opinion. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think this was the most interesting thing for the market open here today. Let's see how it plays out with Nasdaq. It was really strong, but you can see that here now the wicks on the upside are also really strong, not only on the downside but also on the upside. So every 5 minutes we also see a lot of selling pressure, so buying and selling pressure. Candles are still green, but you see a lot of selling pressure with these high wicks on the upside. So this means that we can see a reversal. So you have probably to be prepare here now for a sideways trading phase right around the 11,800 level, and then a possible reversal to the downside. But we are still in phase one, so we are still trading to the upside, and we are just trying to break above this important resistance level here. We already managed to break above, but then we closed below. That's why I told you always wait for the closing of the 5-minute candle, because this can be false breakouts here. It's just to trigger some stop losses. We talked about this before. So as soon as we see the first red candle here, it can be that we see further selling pressure. Sometimes you see things like these V shapes here, so to the downside and then to the upside again. And you see this huge wick here to the downside, yeah? This can cause further buyers stepping in, and especially on higher time frames when you see these it's not so clear here on a 50-minute, but when you see these dojis here to the on the like here, look here, on Friday right at market open we had a huge doji with almost no body of the candle but a huge wick on the downside, and this is in about 70-80% of the time is a good sign for a reversal here from the downside to the upside. And that's what I wanted to see on the upside here. Maybe we can see one on a 5-minute time frame or a 15-minute time frame, and then it could be interesting to take on a new short position here if you haven't entered it right now, and just to trade to the downside, of course with a stop loss near the highs of the day, just between this level of 11,825 and 11,850. But there could be an interesting risk to reward ratio. So only small risk to the upside, but a huge potential to the downside depending on where you want to take on profits. You can take on profits here or at the low points of the day or even here. And you can take out a part of the position just to secure some of your profits, and just stick to the rest and ride it to the downside if you want. yeah, a lot more time for this trading day. Maybe I will give an update this evening or within the next 2 days. You will know if you joined my channel and subscribe to it, then you will know when I will go live again. Just take your questions if you have some under my live stream here below the recording, then I can answer your questions or take them into the next live stream and then we will talk about them. Thank you for listening so far. Have a nice trading day, have a nice trading week, and we will see next time. Goodbye.